Okay, sounds good. Okay. Now, well, let me just bring it out to the group here. What kind of things come to mind? What kind of questions that people might have up to this point? So we talked about, that's okay. We talked about a lot of things that our vision system needs to do in order to look and be comfortable, and how things need to be set up to help us remember things. Is there any questions about what we've been talking about so far? Yes?
I have one. My son, if he was in this situation, would have a really hard time filtering out everything else. So he would be, you know, looking at that picture and he would be imagining that he was on a beach somewhere or something. Do you know what I mean? Because he has audio processing difficulties as well. So how does that play into this? Is that...
It plays a big part in it, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it plays because things have to work together, as we talked about. So if he has, and actually it's interesting because a lot of individuals, because of this integrated body system that we have, if there's a problem with one system, it's going to affect other systems as well, and how those systems work together. So there's probably other things that are going on too that might be at play with in having that type of behavior and interaction. How old is he?
15.
Okay. That's a challenge because he's in high school, and there's always things that are going on, so has some problems trying to put his attention where he needs to, probably, it sounds like, and so he's having some challenges with trying to get through school, obviously, yeah. So so is he doing some auditory therapy at this point?
No, he did when he was younger.
Okay.
So that's why I'm wondering if
Yeah.
the vision therapy would help some of the attention, and can it affect the other systems like the auditory processing or
Sure.
not?
Well, that's a very good question. Let's talk about vision therapy. Now, most of you, I think, have heard about vision therapy, but what is it really? Okay, so it's actually, I've mentioned this a few times, I think, that vision doesn't work in isolation. And so when we work with the vision system, it has to be with auditory stimulation. While the person is listening, we actually use a time sequence type of a thing with a metronome oftentimes. We actually work a lot with the body. A lot of kids aren't organized, and that's going to reflect their ability to attend appropriately to what is needed at the time, basically. So we work with body awareness, organization, bilateral integration, and rhythmic timing with body movement patterns that involve vision. Now, I mentioned actually why vision connects with the body and how it helps stabilizes this. So let's all stand up. This would be good for after dinner. So stand up. And you might have done this, and you'll know what the result is. Let's all close our eyes and stand with one foot.
No problem.
Or actually, keep your eyes open for a second, and just sort of get stable. And then keep your foot up, and then close your eyes, and then see what happens. It's really much more of a challenge to maintain your balance, because we don't know where our body's at, because we're not getting that visual connection. So everybody can sit down. So, so vision therapy. So I'm going to pass out. This sort of summarizes. I mean, actually, there's a couple of things that we didn't really talk about, but this summarizes the visual skills that are important for school and that can be developed with different activities. So I'll pass this out, and everybody can keep these because these are very helpful to sort of see.
Oh, this is so good for my client's care, thank you.
Okay, and I'll give that to you.
Just found the tomato that fell from the case right under the floor.
You're
That's
welcome.
okay, it's our working
You
draft.
should kind of touch on those memory skills
Yes,
that you work with,
okay, perfect.
because I think that's what's helped Josh.
Okay, good, okay.
I may have to take a manual and see if I can help the hurting.
Well, so what, let's go back to remembering what we see, because a lot of kids get stuck with looking at parts and not looking at the whole and remembering information that is needed, particularly when it comes to the reading skill, because reading requires trying to get what's called sight vocabulary and know more and more words. So you can sort of not have to figure out a word when you see it, because you have figured it out before, and you recognize it because of that visual connection. So you can automatically know what the word is, so you can apply it to what the information is in the sentence that you're reading, basically. So memory is a big part of vision. You know, we have experiences, and oftentimes when we're interactive and bodily connected with what we do, we can store those memories and bring them up later on, of course, you know. But for school-based information, it's less interactive and more what's called processing of what we see. We try to understand it, and when everybody reads, does everybody get sort of a picture, a running picture in your head, of course, of what you see and what you read, which helps us to make a connection with our memories banks to understand and help us with the information that we're trying to remember, basically. And it's not going to be very easy to do with technical information. So we still have to process that a little bit differently, actually. So, so part of these visual skills that I hand out is being able to look and to build on that experience so that we can understand the information, of course, remember it for test taking and for other more complicated information that comes along. So anyway, so vision therapy is activities. And I think I mentioned this earlier, our brains are activated by what we do. And so therapy for any parts of our body can help the person do things more efficiently and more automatically, just like physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, auditory processing therapy. Vision therapy is a part of that interaction, that brain interaction that can help the person be more comfortable with using their vision and being able to pay attention with the vision, remember what they see, and to use it when other things are going on, which is constantly listening, moving, thinking, remembering, and doing things quickly. So it's that type of thing. Because this whole system has been around for 60 to 70 years, it's really pretty amazing. Back in the 40s and 50s, there's people that that looked at the brain, but we didn't have the tools to look at the brain to see what the brain's doing. So now in the last 10 or 15 years, we can see imaging what happens when a person looks at something and how that integrative process really is in play. And so we have computer tools, we have different devices that stimulate the eye system a certain way, and we have things that we teach kids to help them use their vision more effectively. And so, and then we practice too. We have the child practice at home with the parents, all their kids will practice on their own, and then they gradually start to do things differently. This is what we hope to see. And so, and I think I was talking to somebody, every one of these things can improve if there's a problem in each one of these areas. Because we're working with a person's brain, and a person's brains can change. Now, how a person uses the changes that can be made sometimes is dramatic, night and day. A struggling student becomes an A student. We see that often. Sometimes there's a lot of catch-up to do. That's a challenge. Motivation, hard work, consistency. Those things are hard to come by when a student is 3 or 4 or 5 years behind in their reading. It's doable. Some kids will take off and run with it and catch up and be very successful. Other kids will still gain some skills, but they're not going to be the A students that the parents would like to see, obviously, for sure. So vision therapy has been around. It's been time tested. We've been in it's not. It doesn't solve all the problems. It can help a lot of people, and basically.